Welcome to another Countryside Adventures video. Today we're going to be reviewing a product for all you adventure seekers out there, the Stuntman.
I'm just a stunt guy!
No, definitely not that Stuntman. The real Stuntman. Nope, still not that Stuntman. The action camera mount. If you're into capturing outdoor adventures, this is definitely a must-have. Stick around and we're going to talk about it. So I ordered this mount off of Amazon and it arrived just in a very simple poly bag, and I just cut the top off of it with a pair of scissors here, and it just shows up with a really basic instruction manual. It's basically self-explanatory for the most part. And so you can see that the instruction manual is super basic, and for the most part it is self-explanatory. So the manual just folds out like so. One of the things that I always like to point out, if you've watched any of my other videos, is the fact that this product is made in California, USA. So the fact that this is a quality product that is made in the United States, I think is absolutely fantastic. Additionally, the packaging is literally just a simple plastic poly bag. And I also think that that is a bonus. And the reason why I say that is a lot of products that spend an exorbitant amount of money on some sort of advertising, marketing, over-the-top packaging is just honestly a waste of money. Why not just let the product speak for itself? If it's a good product, it'll get a little following. And other than that, there's no sense in spending over-the-top money on some sort of exorbitant packaging. So may as well just go ahead and pass that savings on to the consumer. So the two initial impressions, very happily about a simple, inexpensive packaging and a product made in California, USA. So at first glance, this is a really well-made action camera mount. And honestly, this part of the mount kind of reminds me of a RAM mount product. For anyone that is not familiar with RAM mounts, they're oftentimes used in like law enforcement, military, fire department, first responder type applications. And also they can be picked up by any consumer. So the fact that this does remind me of that just really speaks to the quality of it. On the back side, you can see that it has a large screw that has the mounting point for the backpack to the action camera mount, and it's just basically a ball and socket design there. And inside of the ball and socket design, you can tell that it's just a hexagon with the nut, so it does have actual real bolts and screws holding this thing together. And the design is very ergonomic so that you can mount this on the right side, or you can just invert it and flip it over to your left side, so that's fantastic. And outside of the actual mounting hardware, it is basically just a hard plastic, so it's very lightweight. It is not overbearing by any stretch of the imagination. Now, one of my initial concerns regarding this mount was if it was going to be able to slide around or fall down the strap or anything like that over time. And well, on the back side of it, there is sort of this raised textured square, top and bottom, or if you invert it, obviously it's going to be vice versa. And also it has some on the outer perimeter. And so to mount this to your strap is super easy. So basically you're just going to put your strap to the inside of the mount. You're going to go around it and just Velcro it to itself. And you're going to have that textured piece up against your strap. So like that. And I have basically used this over 2 straight days, rain, sun. It was absolutely miserable the first day out there on Total Archery Challenge in Beaver, Oklahoma. And basically I never moved this over the course of that 2 days, and it never slipped, it never moved. And so I'm definitely happy to say, after spending the money on this, that this thing absolutely did not move whatsoever. Now with that ball and socket design, obviously your camera is just going to be mounted like so. And so with that ball and socket design, you can basically mount the Stuntman in any POV angle you want. You can rotate it 360, whatever you may need. So if you just want it sort of shoulder height, you can mount it there. Obviously, you can go left and right. You can move this up to the top of your strap, and with it being flexible, it'll just sit at the top. And with that ball and socket again, you can just kind of rotate it wherever you want. So if you want off of your side, if you want a rear view, whatever you want, you can basically mount this any direction you want to get a true POV experience. For me personally, I have basically just set it on the front side of the shoulder strap, and then I can just carry my bow, I can shoot my bow, whatever I want to do. And so personally for me, I primarily use this kind of in that shoulder mount position, and that has worked out really well just for mainly catching shots of scenic views or calling out shooting this bow, family out hiking, whatever it may be. So it's worked out really well for that. But again, you can basically use this in any position you want with the flexibility and the versatility of the mount. So with all that said, let's go ahead and mount the Stuntman up to a pack real quick, and I'll show you how it mounts up directly to my Mountain Ops Faction backpack. And at this point, I've tried the Stuntman on multiple different packs. I think I've tried it on like 2 cheapo, like Walmart, just like outdoor hunting backpacks. I've tried it on 3 different Bass Pro brand of the Redhead backpacks. I've actually tried it on my Mountain Ops Faction backpack, which this is what I actually carried for 2 days during Total Archery Challenge. And I've also used it on my Everly Stock Little Trick, and it's absolutely fit every backpack that I could possibly put it on at this point. So no concerns as far as, you know, any sort of like size or brand or anything like that at this point. So again, mounting is super easy. Just going to set it against your strap, go around the front of it, across the back. We're just going to pull it good and tight, and like so. So basically same thing over here. I'm going to go across the front of it, back across the back, pull it tight, and like so. For our GoPro, I just have an aluminum housing on my old GoPro 7 here, but you can basically use whatever action camera mount that you have handy. And so like my GoPro 11, you actually don't even have to have a housing at this point. They have the attachment point built into it. So that's pretty cool with that. Go ahead and tighten up our thumb screws. That way we can't move positions with that ball and socket design, and with the Stuntman and an action camera mounted up. And so at that point, we kind of have that shoulder POV. And one of the things that I did have to get used to, but it's honestly just not a big deal. You just have to remember to do it. Is basically I would just reach up and grab the strap anytime I wanted to grab like a scenic overview of like a hilltop or overlooking a lake or something. And basically I could just grab the strap, make sure that it was the angle that I was looking out, and you can just basically pan across whatever you want to at that point. And then obviously if there's any post-production stuff, speed it up, slow it down, whatever you want to do, you could obviously do that. But just remember, if you want to, go ahead and grab that strap, because once you're relaxed, obviously it can change positions, but you're going to get the general overview of whatever you're trying to shoot. Now again, I wore this for 2 days over tack. And so as far as holding positions, we talked about the textured on the back of the actual mounting surface, and then back to that ball and socket design. And again, for anyone that is familiar with something like a ram mount, this thing does not move. So you can shake this, you can jump, you can basically ride a bike, you can hike, you can do anything you want. Like I said, we hiked up and down hills for 2 days straight and shot bows and never moved whatsoever. So no worries about that. If your camera has stability, you might want to go ahead and turn it on. And obviously you can save a whole lot of real estate with something like a DJI camera that is smaller than the GoPro with an aluminum housing. You can definitely get something that takes up less real estate than this takes up. And so that's one of the things that I really like about the Stuntman mount, is the fact that it basically just integrates to your gear. And so if you're like me, and I'm one of those guys that, like say at Total Archery Challenge with a lot of people around, there's vendors and there's always people to meet and there's always people to speak with. I don't like running around with just a camera hanging out and like, you know, always trying to just not be in the moment, basically holding a camera and speaking to a camera and trying to catch good content. So the great thing about the Stuntman with a small action camera mount is it just basically blends in with your gear. You can turn this thing on and you can just basically go throughout your day, and no one's wondering about the camera, and no one's thinking that you're crazy because you're over off by yourself having some random conversation to a camera all alone. So I really like the integration into your gear, and it just becomes part of what you're doing outdoors. So then it becomes just one of those things where there's absolutely no worries about having to take a moment, prep gear, work with gear, recharge, whatever it may be. It's just basically integrated into your gear. And so for the most part, all you're doing is just swapping out batteries every once in a while. So you stop for lunch, you change batteries, and you just keep rolling. So what are our next plans to utilize the Stuntman action camera mount? Well, at this point, we are entering mid-September 2024. September 28th actually is the first day of archery hunting season here in Texas. And so kind of my thought is, I don't have some sort of really cool rig like a lot of these outdoors guys have, as far as just focused on hunting with a swing arm and a really high-end camera and all the cool gear. So I think what my plan is basically I am just going to set something up in a tree that I can mount to, and I am going to take a backpack. And so once I'm in position up in my tree stand, I can just basically hang this on something, and I'll have to come up with something kind of simple just to hang my backpack up on. And at that point, I can reposition my Stuntman and a GoPro. And so if any wildlife comes out, whatever it may be, I'm gonna switch sides with this real quick. Whatever it may be, I can just basically reach up, hit the shutter button, and basically we'll have video from any position up in a tree stand. So I think that's going to work out okay. We're going to give it a try. I will definitely let you know how that works out, but that is basically my future plans right now to utilize the Stuntman rolling into fall. So the first pro about the action camera mount is the fact that it is super lightweight. I mean, it basically weighs absolutely nothing. I'm talking like a few ounces. And so obviously with a much smaller camera, I do plan on getting something much smaller than this to utilize. And I do have a plastic housing for my GoPro 7, and I'll go ahead and swap over to that once hunting season rolls around. Number two is, again, if you're a little self-conscious about just cruising around with a phone or a camera all the time and just having it out and trying to carry on a conversation and go about your day, or if you just don't want to really take up the time trying to catch content all the time and you want to spend time with your family, as obviously I would much rather prioritize that time with my family than worrying about gear and trying to catch content or whatever it may be. The fact that this integrates directly into your gear already is absolutely a lifesaver. It saves so much time, and honestly, it just makes for a better experience all the way around. So number two for me is the fact that the Stuntman integrates right into your gear. The number 3 pro for the Stuntman action camera mount for me is the quality. So this thing is basically indestructible. It is very simple, yet it is a very efficient design. I've had to pull my backpack off, set it on the ground, readjust for whatever gear, for quivers, whatever it may be. And basically this thing never loses its position. It is absolutely indestructible. It is very simplistic in its design. It is easy to maintain. It is easy to make function correctly. So for me, just the fact of the quality about this is fantastic. And so the fact that it's US made and a high quality product speaks volumes to me. Now the number 4 pro for me about the Stuntman action camera mount is the price. So at the time of filming this video, this action camera mount is under 20 bucks. So it's $19.99 at the time of filming on Amazon. And so if you're interested in purchasing a Stuntman action camera mount, there's an affiliate link down in the description below. You can check it out. And again, $19.99, that is a hard deal to beat for something that is made in the US, serious quality, and functions as advertised with absolutely no issues whatsoever. So that is my personal pros about the Stuntman action camera mount. Now with that, you may want to know about any cons it has to do with this action camera mount. And to be honest, at this point, I haven't found any. I have absolutely no cons about this. The price point can't be beat. It's a US made product. It's very simple. It's very rugged. It's very durable. It has simple, efficient, not expensive packaging. So I have to say that the Stuntman guys over in California have absolutely hit the nail on the head with this. This is a fantastic product. I really like it. And again, if you're interested in checking it out, there's that link down in the description below. So I really do hope you found this information helpful, or I hope you just enjoyed hanging out with us. I know we're not outdoors, but we're late September and it's time to start heading out there and getting those bows out and start hunting. So that is my quick review and pro and con list regarding the Stuntman action camera mount. So if you haven't already, please do me a huge favor. Go ahead and hit that thumbs up, hit that subscribe button, and as always, we'll see you outdoors.